So here's another installment of the long-running Marvel Netflix series that has been proven to just pure great TV as time went on. Daredevil Season 1 is a surprise hit masterpiece, Jessica Jones is an excellent mystery that got a little lower in quality but it's still good on their own. Daredevil Season 2 coming in, it's just brilliant TV with brilliant characters, perfect casting, the ending was a little bit cliched but it's still an excellent TV series all around. And now we have Luke Cage, which I'm not really anticipating in the grand scheme of all the Marvel Netflix series to be honest, but I will still watch it because people have been saying that it's really damn good and everything. And then we will have Iron Fist, which I really cannot wait because by the time he shows up, people are gonna accuse him of just being Yellow Daredevil. Not to be confused with Daredevil Yellow, but well, let's just get straight to Luke Cage. So Luke Cage is the story of the titular character, Luke Cage. He's just a big-ass dude in a bumfuck nowhere side of Harlem who's just doing his due diligence as a cleaner in a random-ass barbershop. At least, all of that right after the whole fiasco that happened in Jessica Jones. But thankfully, if you don't want to watch Jessica Jones, you can go ahead and watch this entire series without any connections to Jessica Jones. Although you'd be missing out some references here and there. Not much, but just some. He's just basically trying to run out his barbershop as usual, but some of the residents of the barbershop get themselves into a very tight spot. I won't spoil that, just see the show. One of the things that I love about the Marvel Netflix series is the presentation of each narrative and each storyline. The dialogues between the characters are not the kind of contrived garbage speeches that I see in Arrow. Every single episode always have their own contained storyline that are all connected to one another and yet still somehow form a coherent narrative. It's probably thanks to the fact that it's only 13 episodes. Sure, they're like hours, but come on, at least it's not wasting too much of my time like... Well, Luke Cage is played by Mike Colter and he is brilliant. That huge bulky side of his body really helps on forming the character. Marvel has been great at our casting throughout. I'm not a Luke Cage fan, but if I want someone to play Luke Cage, I definitely choose this guy. The acting and writing of this character are also fantastic and they form it together very well for the character. Now, there are always things that interest me in every Netflix series. In Daredevil, I'm always interested in the law aspects and how each character talks about the law and the philosophy of it. I'm also interested in how Matt Murdock are able to balance all of them in his daily life struggle. I mean, that vigilante lawyer mindsets are kind of conflicting inside his head and he has that inner battle that he needs to confront. In Jessica Jones, I find Jessica Jones to be quite a compelling character despite her flaws and constant annoyances and bitchiness and, being a total freaking bitch in general. But she's kind of like Revy in some ways. Beyond those nihilistic personalities, there are some traces of genuine humanity in all of them. In Luke Cage, it's Harlem. The core part of Luke Cage is this wonderfully unique setting of Harlem. The Harlem setting of this entire show really does support every facet of the story. It's a show that represents the culture of a very small part of the world that is beautiful. And the beauty of the entire thing is that they don't present Harlem as this really big heaven. No, it's not. It's not perfect. There are criminals, there are assholes, but beyond all of that, there is beauty. There is a soul. There are people on that city who believe in good and try to do good for their daily lives. The beauty of that city is the fact that it's not perfect, but people are still fighting their hardest to make it to be at least good. And to all the people living in there, mad props to you. And they show almost everything about Harlem in an almost semi-accurate manner. It all started with the people, the music, the art, the history, the social interactions, lots of interesting things. The subtlety and nuance of the city's presentation throughout the series are enough to actually make it convincing and believable. It's almost like the city is a character of its own. It's a hell of a lot more distinct than Hell's Kitchen in my opinion. And the soundtrack, man, whoever selects the music tracks for this should be fucking promoted. Especially the guy who composed the Luke Cage radio rap. That was beautiful. Now, let's talk about the story, and this is in my opinion where Luke Cage kind of missteps. The first half of the show is excellent, but the second half of the show just kind of, loses a portion of the charm that the first half has. I'm gonna show you why the second half is just not great. The first half has a really damn good villain, but then he got replaced with this other guy. and that other guy is just not a great villain. Now, I don't really want to go to spoiler territory, but let's just say that the first villain didn't hang around for too long and got replaced by this other dude who is just significantly weaker. I wouldn't have a problem with it if he actually didn't like change a significant portion of second half, but the problem is he does. He actually give a significant impact to the second half. The second half feels a hell of a lot more different than the first half, and in my opinion, the second half is just all around inferior compared to the first half. I think my assumption here is that Marvel wants to duke Luke with another guy who is equally as strong as him, so that there's like a power battle between the two. Not just a psychological battle, but there's also a physical battle. It's an action series after all, but the series is doing alright without the needs of this power action battle. This series recognizes that while yes, Luke Cage is indeed strong and powerful, he's not gonna be able to solve everything with his power. He still have weaknesses on like his mental health, his psyche. He's human after all, but the second half sort of gives up on that and say, yeah, we should probably get into more action. We're still a Marvel property after all. This results in an end fight scene, which is just this really big battle between two power men, the most ridiculous thing I've seen out of the series, and it's a little bit out of tone. It's almost insulting. It's out of tone and kind of detracts to the overall theme of the first half, in my opinion. Like, I know it's the MCU, but I want to see another side of the MCU, one that doesn't have flashy battles and freaking Spider-Man. Again, the Harlem setting is fantastic, but sometimes there are moments that remind you that, oh yeah, we're in the MCU. It kind of ruins the mood for me, but then again, this show is about a bulletproof guy, so why am I complaining? Thankfully, one villain that is consistently good is Shades. This guy is a fucking legend. Every single time he's on screen, I'm actually cheering up for the dude. He's so damn cool. There are so many layers of him that makes him for this really manipulative asshole. I would probably just see scenes of him manipulating people, and I'd probably be a lot more satisfied. He's really damn good. He's menacing, he's smart, he's manipulative, just a great villain all around that steals the show from me. Oh, and the action scenes are just about as weak as Jessica Jones, so if you're expecting choreographed martial arts, maybe next year. Overall, if you freaking love the previous Marvel Netflix series, Luke Cage will come in and sweep you right under the rug. It's a Marvel series with class, and definitely one that you should check out. It has some missteps, but it's a very enjoyable show throughout. If you really want to check it out, go and check it out. It's good. But if you have watched any of the previous Netflix series, you probably have already checked this one out. Just in case you haven't, go watch all of them, they're also great. So those are my personal thoughts on Marvel's Luke Cage. Agree or disagree? If you have a different opinion, comment below, let me know about it. That's all for the video today, guys. If you like this, you can go ahead and click the like button and subscribe for more. If you wish, you can support me on Patreon, and thanks for watching.